Hi there, this is Luke from Downforce's product team, here to demonstrate our latest product update, which is our Land Management Analyzer. Now, LMA has been designed to help you understand what is working and what is perhaps not working to build soil organic carbon and restore soil health across your property. We've designed this product in consultation with many of our key partners and clients, and we really want to help you understand which fields, which blocks, which activities, and which rotations are most effectively storing carbon across your property. Now, the goals for today is to run through a few of the key features and functionalities and to really touch on the four key questions, which are which field is performing best, which block is performing best, which activity and which rotation is performing best to store carbon in my soils. So without further ado, let's jump into the demo where you can see already we've got our map of our property on the left-hand side showing the change in soil organic carbon over the time period for our assessment, which we can see is January 2017 to December of 2023. So over that entire time period, how has the carbon changed in every 10-meter pixel of every field across my property? We can see that spatially in the map, but we can also see it represented in a series of scorecards on the right-hand side. Starting from the top, a new feature, a new function for land management is the property performance. And that looks at every field across your property and calculates whether, on average, across the field, have the carbon stocks gone up or have they gone down? Are they improving or are they declining? And we can see that for this demo property with the demo data that we've gotten here, and I should point out this is all mock data, across our 33 fields, we can see that 71% have actually improved in their soil carbon stocks. So on the whole, our management over this time period has been very positive. It has built our carbon stocks on average, but we might want to bump that up a little bit over time to get into the 80s and 90s percent. And that's why we might use land management to dig into what's been working best and what's perhaps not been working so well. Moving lower now, we look at the field performance where we can see, okay, over the assessment period, which fields were my top three, which were my bottom three, and what was the average change in SOC over the time period. And we can see that paddock 18, when we are looking at tons per hectare, is actually our best performer. It is quite a small field, but it has added 29.3 tons per hectare over that assessment period, which is a really strong result. But what I might want to do, I might want to view this as tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So to do that, I would go to settings, change to tons CO2 equivalent, hit save, and now we're looking at fields through a bit of a different lens where area is going to be coming into account more. So we can see that paddock 27 now, it's 209 hectares, almost 10 times the size of paddock 18. And we can see that it's actually stored over 12,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent over the assessment period. So a really, really strong result. And that would be particularly interesting to my supply chain partners, my brand partners who may be purchasing the wheat and the lentils and the canola from my farm. Moving on now, we can see that 4 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. We can see that paddocks 24, 12, and 33 were our poorest performers. Paddock 33 in particular lost a fair amount of carbon, lost over 8,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So now I would be probing that field, that paddock, as to why that is. What did I do differently in paddock 33 versus paddock 27? Yes, I planted different crops, but were there different practices to go along with those crops? Perhaps tillage, perhaps input uses, perhaps livestock grazing. Did I not do any livestock grazing in paddock 33, but I did in 27? This is the sort of investigation and line of inquiry you can go on now with land management analysis. But all of this has been viewed through the lens of field as our unit of spatial management. We can change in land management to blocks, which are essentially an aggregation of fields. So our clients often come to us saying, well, it's great that I can see individual fields, but I actually manage these 10 fields in the same way. And I want to understand what is the aggregate impact of those 10 fields. Or you might have an instance where you have different soil types across different collection of fields and you want to split the results according to that. Or maybe there's a topography factor that you want to play in to your land management analysis. Well, that is all, you're able to do all that now. If you go to areas of interest, you can now upload your blocks, you can create your own blocks, and break out the data in any way that you want spatially. I've done this, and you can see block 1 is an aggregation of about 8 fields like so. If I move down now, block 8, there's about 3 fields in that one, and you can see how I've grouped them all together. Now, if we jump over to the scorecard, we can see that block 1 is by far our best performer. No surprises, there's much more area in this block, but it has added over 5,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent over the assessment period, which is a really, really strong result. And that's all been our spatial management, and that's answering the questions of which fields, which blocks were my best and my worst performers over the assessment period. But what about activities? What about rotations? For that, we'll go lower on the screen to the activity performance, where we can see that over the assessment period, barley has performed exceptionally strongly. It's occurred 46 times, and we can see that we have added in total 29,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent to the soil. So an extremely positive result for barley. Vichola, it has only occurred 3 times, but it's not been as positive. It has lost about 16,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Now, again, I'll flag that this is dummy data. Don't take these particular results to the bank, but when you upload your data, you'll see real um, actualized data in front of you, and you'll be able to work out which crops, which activities are best at building carbon for your farm, for your context. If you want to see more than one activity though, perhaps you want to see a rotation, again, you can do that if you go to view by, head to rotation, and now you're asked, well, how many activities occur in your standard rotation? So bear in mind, whatever you select here will be applied across the whole farm. Future updates will separate different activities, different rotations to different portions of your farm. But right now, we can just select 3 activities. We can choose a start date of January 2018, let's just say, hit update, and now we'll see that for the conditions that I've put in, 3 crop rotations starting in January 2018, we can see that barley, wheat was actually our best performing rotation, followed by wheat, canola, wheat. We can see a real pattern here. Wheat apparently agrees with our soil. Whatever we're doing when we sow and harvest our wheat is building soil organic carbon. So that's a really positive signal for you to take into next year's planning, that in this instance, wheat and your soil organic carbon stocks do align, they do agree. So these are the key functionalities in this new product. You can dig deeper if you want to by hitting any of the Analyze buttons. That will show you a table of data where it won't just be the top 3, the bottom 3. It will show you all of the data for the conditions that you've put into the product. You can, of course, filter as you want. Occurrence count, that is a good one to filter by, particularly when you're looking at individual activities. You can perhaps filter out anything that occurred less than 3 times, for instance. Going back, I just want to point out a few more final little functions. The time range. You can see here that I'm looking at data from 2017 to 2023 for my land management analysis. Now, the reason this hasn't gone all the way to the end of 2024, which is the extent of our soil organic carbon assessment, the reason for that is I haven't uploaded all of my management data. I can still upload 2024 to really close out the assessment, and I would do that through settings if I just hit upload data here. So make sure you're always populating land management with new data to make sure you have the freshest results and the most updated feedback. And once you've done that, you can adjust the time range as you wish. So perhaps I want to view data from 2020 onwards, let's just say. Here we go. Now we can see everything is updated. My farm has performed exceptionally well from January of 2020 to December of 2023, with 92% of my fields improving. Really, only one portion of my property hasn't improved in soil organic carbon, and that is this section in the northeast, and that would be something that I would investigate further with Downforce and with Land Management Analyzer to understand why that is. Why has the rest of my property performed really well, but this one section hasn't? It is not going to be due to climate. It's probably not due to soil type. If we look at the surrounding fields, it will most likely be due to management. So what should I be doing more of? What should I be doing less of? That is what you can use land management to do. So thank you for watching. We have additional support materials in our Knowledge Center, such as an entire how-to guide. But if you want to have a conversation with our team, and if you want to share feedback, please reach out to us at support@downforce.tech. Thank you.